Larry, can you pick up? There's some lady on hold, sounds kind of hyper.
What line, Rose?
2.
Family Crisis Intervention, Sergeant Balzac.
Home Alone. I mean, that was a small part, but it was a good part. I mean,
Well, I made it a good part. No, it wasn't a good part. It was a small part. And I didn't want to do it. And I turned it down over and over again. They kept on calling me because they thought that the movie was cursed.
Really?
Because of me. Because they didn't hire me. Because they had me audition for Daniel Stern's part. No, I didn't even audition. I was big enough to not audition for anything. For some things. I still, even if you're a star, sometimes you have to audition. But I was big enough so I didn't have to. They just called me. But I didn't want to do it because there's only 3 lines. But they first called me to replace Daniel Stern because he was going to quit and he wanted more money and they wouldn't give it to him. So he's going to quit.
Wow.
So they called me and they told him, they said, well, if you quit, we're going to get Larry Hankin, so we don't care. So either you work for what we're paying you or we're going to fire you.
Right.
Simple. So he caved. And then they told me, they said, well, you're not going to replace Daniel Stern. Sorry. But he caved. If he didn't cave, you would have been okay. So then and that was fine. I understand that.
Yeah.
It didn't for me at all. There are other parts. This is part of the business. You get replaced, you're blah, blah, blah. No sweat. But then 2 weeks later, they called me again. And I said, is this about the Daniel Stern bullshit? And they go, no, this is totally different. We want you in the movie because of what we did when we told you Daniel Stern caved. In other words, we feel, this is the producers talking.
Right.
We feel, and this is their words, we jerked you around because we used your name against Daniel Stern. We said, we're going to replace you with Larry Hankin. And we feel, we don't know, but we feel that that was part of the reason why he caved, that he didn't want to be replaced, that he understood they're not going to pay me, they're going to fire me.
Right.
So he caved. So, because they got a replacement. So that's why they didn't take me. But then they thought, and this is from the producers, I asked them about it. They thought that because they used my name and that they led me to believe that I was going to co-star in John Hughes' next movie opposite Joe Pesci.
Right.
It's a big deal. And then they didn't use me, but I knew about it, that they felt this caused a curse to be put on the movie because they had shot for 3 days. And or at least 3 days. It was 2 weeks later. Maybe it was a week later. And it wasn't working. The movie wasn't working. Had nothing to do with Daniel Stern or Pesci or Macaulay Culkin. It had to do with, it just, I don't know, it just wasn't gelling, you know? Each scene just didn't seem right, even in the rushes, when they watched the rushes. And they couldn't figure out, and then somebody had suggested, well, maybe because you shouldn't have fucked around with Larry, you know?
Right.
Using him. So they thought, well, we'll put him in the movie and maybe the curse will come off. I mean, this is crazy thinking for producers, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, these people should know better. This is like, you know, secrets and fairy tales.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Curse. Yeah, it's fairy tales. Curse.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they called me and they said, you know, we want you in the movie because the movie is cursed because of what we did and jerked you around. But the only thing open, because we've started the movie, so we've cast everything. So the only thing open at the moment, or the only thing open is this small part, three lines. But we have to have you in the movie, Larry. It's cursed. And we believe in our hearts that it's because of what we did to you.
Right.
And I said, yeah, but it's 3 lines. I can't. I mean, I'm too big.
Right.
To do a part that only has 3 lines. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I understand your problem. I think you're kidding yourself with this curse thing, but whatever, I'm not going to do. And I told him that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do three lines. I can't.
Mhm.
Say it would be against my better interest to do that.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, and they kept on calling. And finally, my agent called me and said, hey, what is this? You're turning down Home Alone? This is going to be a big movie. It's John Hughes, man. I mean,
Yeah.
directing, Chris Columbus is directing. He was a big comedy
Oh,
director.
yeah.
He is. Big
Yeah.
He says, you're turning it. I said, it's three goddamn lines. What are you talking about? What are you
It,
sending me up for? What are you even giving them my phone number? What the hell? What are you guys doing? Never mind what I'm doing.
yeah.
Doing this all wrong. And he said, no, Larry, they're gonna fly you there first class. He says, first class, nothing. It's three lines. He says, it's a half a day's work. They're flying you first class. They're giving you a limo to and from both airports. I don't care. It's three lines, and I'm arguing. And
Yeah.
finally, Larry, they're paying you for a half a day's work, flying first class, a half a day there and back. You'll be sleeping in your own bed the same day. They'll
Wow.
pay you $10,000 for a half a day's work, two shots, two takes, one take for three lines and one for insurance. And they won't even send the limo away. The limo that dropped you off from the airport will be waiting outside the soundstage for you to finish in a half hour to an hour. And you're out and back and on the plane and home and sleep in your own bed.
That
10,000.
is a good day's pay with a good day's work.
And I said, let's do it.
I would do the same thing.
I mean, I said, oh, nobody mentioned that. What's the problem? I'm there. But
Yeah.
when I got there, they really thanked me a lot. And as far as the donuts go, no, I asked for one donut because there was a cop on the phone.
Yeah.
The cop, and he said, do you want any props?
Uh-huh.
I'm on the phone. What kind of props can I use? He says, well, I mean, as long as you're coming and we're paying you $10,000, we might as well, offer you what we offered somebody who are paying $10,000. Do you
Yeah.
want to? I said, yeah, I want a glazed donut, one glazed donut. And he said, that's it? I go, yeah, I'm on the phone. I mean, give me a donut. I'm a cop. And he goes, okay. So when I got there, they had a rolling baker's tray of 20 trays,
Oh, wow.
300 glazed donuts.
What?
Yeah. And
Wow.
all I was thinking was, they're not going to take this out of my pay. That's they're going to make me pay for this. And that's what I said. I said that out loud. I looked
Mhm.
at the tray and I go, and they were expecting, oh my God. And all I said is, I'm not paying for this. And they said, no, 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 no. You would and just, so one of the producers, in case we have to do three takes. Oh,
Oh,
ha, ha. Very funny. So that's what happened. But we had to do 10 takes because I really thought the movie was cursed because we had to do 10 takes on the 11th. We went all the way through and I didn't know
yeah.
what happened. Well, what happened was the donut the piece fell on the speaker part of the
Hmm.
land phone. But I wanted to do it over because wow, I got the hiccups. I wanted to do it over because they showed me the take because everybody laughed because we did 10 takes because something happened each take. And that's why even I began to think that the movie was cursed because
Yeah.
we never got through one full take. Some
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's never happened before. The camera jiggled. The camera went off the track. One of the lights exploded and fell down. All the shattered glass on the set and everything. Always in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle. A jet went over and it spoiled the soundtrack. And then finally, we went all the way on the 11th take. We went all the way through to a cut. I heard
Hmm.
cut, but they laughed. In other words, everybody, because the donut fell, the piece of donut fell on the phone about 10 seconds before the scene was over.
Hmm.
I didn't see it. I'm just talking. I'm looking over there. It fell here. So the donut, and then, one, two, three, four, cut, which is where it was supposed to cut.
Yeah.
And the director said, "Cut, Larry's released. Thank you, Larry." I wasn't even going to take another unit. What do you call an insurance?
Reset. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they weren't going to do an insurance. No, we got one. And I said, "Wait a minute." I heard people laugh right after you said cut because people were holding it in. You
Yeah.
laugh or you'd ruin the soundtrack. So you have to hold it in until they yell cut, and then they release it. So they'll just ha 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 ha. Ha.
Yeah.
What was the laugh about? And he said it was never mind, just get in the limo. You're
Hmm.
released. Get out of here. The curse is off. Get out of here. So I said, no, they laughed because I fucked up. That was what happened. I made a mistake, right? And you're going to keep it. No, I want to do it again. I'm not letting any mistake of mine get out.
Hmm.
Thinking back to, just walk out of the scene.
Yeah.
Uh, Demand another take. That's what
Right.
all. I'm big enough to demand another take, which I was. I could
Yeah.
ask another take. But he said, no, 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 we got it. I said, well, you got what? I said, no, Larry, something happened with the donut. It's funny. I said, I got to see it. So they took me over. They showed me the take and TV.
Yeah.
And they showed me the take, and I see this donut piece go on the phone. I said, "Oh wow, man, that's a mistake. Okay, we got to do another take. Yeah, I want to do another take. Don't use that." And Chris Columbus says, "Larry, I mean, he couldn't understand what I was saying to him. He goes, Larry, that's comic gold, Larry." I go, "What do you mean? It's a mistake. There's donuts there's a piece of donut fell." He says, "Yeah, that's funny. That's going in the movie. Get out of here." So he chased me out. And then, and then he says, "Just get out of the uniform and get in the limo. The limo waiting for you." So I
Yeah.
got the uniform, but before I went to the limo, I went over to the donut tray, this big 300. And so there was 11 donuts missing because each take I had to eat a donut,
Yeah.
get a new one. So I went over because I wanted to find out why, because I watched the whole take,
Yeah.
the one that they used in the movie. I
Right.
watched the whole take and I was doing everything exactly the same. And while I was eating the donut, I took about 3 or 4 bites out of the donut before we got to the point where it dropped on the phone.
Yeah.
I was watching, and the donut, because I didn't know what was coming. They're showing it to me the first time. I see crumbs are falling all over me. Each time he took a bite, a crumb would
Yeah.
fall, but nothing ever stuck to the phone. Some hit the phone and fell off. So I'm going, I don't know why you don't want me to do. I don't know why they're keeping this because I'm doing the same thing that I did in every other take, but I don't
Right.
see what's funny. So I don't understand. But what about the laugh? That's what I'm looking for. What did I do that caused the laugh? And then all of a sudden, this big piece falls and it sticks on the side. See, that's the thing. It didn't stick on the top.
Yeah.
It's on the side. Now everything else that hit the side fell off. If it hits the side, it should just bounce off, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It just stayed there.
Has the child ingested any poison and or any other object has become lodged in his throat?
That's what's fun. And then very slowly, it started to not fall off, but roll off and then drop. And that's what's funny.
And I would like somebody to go over to the
So I saw that, and I still thought it was, I wanted to do it again. And he said, no, Larry, that's going in the movie. Get out of here. So I said, okay. And I left. And then when I saw it in the movie, I kind of understood, well, I guess it's funny. I don't think it's funny, but I can see where it could be funny.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, on the street, when people recognize me as an actor in Home Alone,
Yeah.
and they have kids, no, even their fathers, but they watch it. It's a family thing.
Right. It's a family movie. Yeah.
And the kids, the little kids just love that little thing. So that's why so this is all off of you saying that's a great scene. No, it's not a great scene, but little kids remember that. And that's what makes their family. What are you laughing at? The older people don't see that. They ask the kids, the donut fell on his phone. So the little kids when I walk down the street, little kids come up to me and say, how did you do the donut? Is that a green screen? They know the mechanics of making movies. They know green screen.
Yeah.
They know assistant. They know, was there a string attached? Did somebody have a string on it? They want to know, how did you do the donut thing? I mean, that's the famous line.
Do kids ever come up to you with a cell phone and like put a piece of donut on the phone and ask to take a picture with you?
Oh, that would be great. I should do that. I should have a little, I can get a little sponge, a piece of sponge. It'll look like a donut.
Well, when I come out to LA and meet up with you, I'll get a photo with you with
paste
that.
it on the phone.
Yeah.
And go, okay, here,
Yeah.
you want me to go to their house? You want me to go to your house and check on your kid? That's the line.
He's just home alone. And I would like somebody to go over to the house and see that he's all right, just to check on him.
You want us to go to your house just to check on him?
Yes.
Let me connect you with the police department.
No, they just transferred me to you.
Rose!
Yeah.
Hyper on 2.
Hang on.
Hold on, please.